Let's call this meeting to order.
Amen. All right.
So good to see you all here. I heard this thank you from, I don't know, somebody on MSNBC this past week. And they said to the group that they were addressing, thank you for coming out for the voters in Hendricks County. And I appreciate that. Woo! So we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, Chris.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if you are a PC, please stand. If you are a PC captain, chair or vice chair, please stand. Yes, please stand. Continue standing. I would like you to introduce your name and tell us what precinct you are.
Catherine Ransford, Washington 26.
Stan Oswald, Washington 24.
Roy Phillips, Guilford 20. Anita Overton, Washington 5.
Mike Langford, Washington, and I confess I forget my number, so I should just make up one. 17.
Francis Price, Guilford 13.
Christy Thornberry, Lincoln 17.
Carrie Maloney, Lincoln 9.
Karen Whitney, Lincoln 19.
Sarah Blainbridge, Washington 14.
Okay.
Tracy Berensford, Brown 3. Nancy Stinson, Lincoln 8. Donna Watson, Clay 2. Cindy Holman, Lincoln 6.
That's Ted, and he's with Liberty 3. And I'm Meg, with Liberty 3.
Very good.
And
Back I'm Chris Blair, Washington 17.
I'm Linda Lassiter, Guilford 18.
Can we also get a roll call by town? So Avon, if you're here, say hello.
No.
Brownsburg. Danville. Let's see, we got. There we go. Brownsburg. Oh, did I say that one?
You said that one.
Amo. Yay, we got one. Gardensburg, Danville, I said that one. Plainville. Indianapolis.
Yeah, I know, right? I would put D for it.
And Little Flower. Is that it? What do you say?
Clayton.
Meg?
Hazeldale.
Hazelwood. Oh, okay. And then did I miss anybody?
Clayton.
The unincorporated town of Belleville.
But look,
Thank you, everybody. All right. Without further ado.
Gary, that was a disaster.
Thank you, Chris. So along with my thank you to all of you on behalf of voters of Hendricks County, I want us to all do our monthly cheer. And I'm going to ask you a question. What are we here for?
Election.
Democrats.
Thank you so much. I think it helps in this environment that we're in to yell and scream a little bit.
Yes.
So that kind of gives us a good excuse. So the first thing we're going to do right off the bat, Dr. Scott Wyndham is here, the superintendent of the Avon School District. He's going to talk to us about this referendum, the school referendum question that that's why a special election is happening in November.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me here. This is Sheila Glass. She's our Chief Financial Officer. So Sheila and I are kind of doing the tour of Avon. And wherever two or more are gathered in Avon, we try to get there. I love that the Avon cheer was louder than the Brownsburg cheer earlier. If you are from Avon, will you stand up? Because Sheila's going to bring you something. But all of you know people that live in Avon. All of you might have family, connections, friends that live in Avon. And so I really appreciate Linda. I appreciate Mrs. Simmons, Mr. Langford for helping me get in front of you today. We are doing a referendum renewal on November 4th of 2025. Our community in Avon supported a referendum in 2018 that was focused on three things. And it was focused on reducing our class sizes, paying our teachers more competitively so that we can recruit and retain the best teachers in Avon, and to increase our opportunities and supports for our students. So I brought a whole bunch of referendum progress reports for you, and then Linda stole them all. But she gave me one back to use as a prop. But we have lots of these, and if you would like any of these, this has factual information about the referendum. You can see on here we have 142 teachers in our district today because our community supported that referendum. That's how we've been able to drop our class sizes as much as we have. We have 173 total positions, including our support staff. So that we really appreciate that our community supported that referendum in 2018. But the state law says you have to go back to the voters and ask them at least every 8 years if they continue to support that. So that's why this is a renewal. It's not an additional tax. It is a renewal referendum to continue the supports that we've had in place. The other piece that you might be interested in is, why are we doing this in November of 2025 and not November of 2026? Our plan all along had been May of 2026 for a referendum renewal. So our community supported a referendum in 2018. I mentioned Mr. Langford and Mrs. Simmons. Mrs. Overton was on our school board as well. They all have seen the benefits of that referendum. So when that referendum passed, we knew in 8 years we would have to go back to the voters and ask them May of 2026. The reason why schools often did May referendum was because we do our hiring in the summer. Our budgets are developed in the summer. If we have to lay off teachers, state law says it has to happen in the summer. But the state legislature changed the law and said schools have to hold referendums in November moving forward. So I can't lay off teachers in November if a referendum fails. The state law doesn't allow it. And it would also be really hard for kids if I had to lay off teachers in the middle of the year. So state law says if I have to reduce teachers, it has to happen in the summer. If a referendum passes and we are adding teachers, which we did in 2018, the referendum passed that May, we added over 80 teachers that summer. We hired 80 additional teachers. Teachers aren't looking for a job in November. I can't hire teachers in November, but I can definitely hire them after May. So we went down, Sheila and I advocated at our state legislature quite a bit to keep that May option for schools, because that's why schools did May referendum, but that option was taken away. So schools were left with two options: November of 2025 or November of 2026. And so our school board really studied that this summer. We had a lot of community meetings about that and heard from folks that came and spoke about that. But really it came down to, if a referendum fails in November of 2025, we can finish out this school year with our existing staff and then make staffing reductions this summer. If we would have waited until November of 2026 and a referendum failed, then we would have run a pretty significant budget deficit, because we have teachers under contract through the 26-27 school year, and referendum funds would have stopped at the end of calendar year 2026. So we tried to make that case at our state house, but we ultimately were left with two options: November 2025 or November 2026. And this option that we are pursuing is really better for kids, because win or lose, we will be able to make staffing determinations this coming summer. So the other thing that I always like to emphasize when I talk about the referendum as well, and this document that Sheila handed out does a nice job of summarizing it. But the voters approved a tax rate in 2018 of 35 cents. The renewal question, the rate is 33 cents. So our school board made the decision to drop that rate 2 cents because as they worked with our financial advisors and looked out over the next 8 years, we have to forecast what might we need over the next 8 years with all the unknowns that are impacting property taxes right now. And so our board looked out, worked with our financial advisors and came up with a rate of 33 cents. So it's 2 cents less than what the voters approved in 2018. So we're going around to the community talking about the importance of the referendum, the staff that it funds, what we have been able to do in our schools. We have the highest graduation rate we've ever had at Avon High School this past year, 98.4% graduation rate, graduating a class of 850 students. Our academic performance is back. We had bounced back when our class sizes were really large. When my kids went through school, our elementary class sizes were 30, 31, 32 kids was kind of the norm. Middle school classes, 35. Now our class sizes are right in that 22 to 25 range. And we've seen great academic gains in that, and we want to continue that. And it's really because of what our teachers are able to do with smaller class sizes. And of course, our kids are doing great things, winning state championships and show choir and band, in orchestra, all those kinds of things that our kids are able to do because our community has really supported our schools. So I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. The other thing you could do to help is if you are involved in other groups, like I said, we will go anywhere. We will talk to anyone. We just left the meeting of a parent group that had 5 people in it. It was great because those 5 people know 50 other people that they can educate about this. One of the things that has concerned me the most is our voter registration numbers are really low. So as school age parents in Avon, about only half are registered to vote. And so we're really trying to, we always try to encourage voter registration, as I'm sure you do too. Every election we try to do that, but this election is specifically for one topic. And so people will go into the polls and make a yes or no decision. And we're just trying to make sure people are as informed as possible to vote yes on that question. What questions can I answer for you? Yes, ma'am.
I had a question brought to me about someone saying they don't want to vote for it because it's going to mean more money going to privates, more of their tax money going to private schools.
I have heard that. I have heard that as well, and that is not true. So that was a bill that was proposed that referendum dollars would have to be shared with charter schools and private schools. And that is the case in certain counties in Indiana, but we are not one of those. So at one point there was discussion of that being a statewide mandate, which we were concerned about because then you would have to raise the taxes on everybody if the dollars have to get spread to private schools and charter schools. And we didn't want to take on an even higher tax rate that we have to tell our community about to fund schools that we're not responsible for. So that is only in certain counties, not us. Great question. Another question I get asked a lot is about school construction. Whether you live in Avon, Brownsburg, Danville, there is school construction happening around Hendricks County. All of us have been able to do that and stay within our tax cap. So our referendum does not fund school construction. Our referendum funds our class sizes. It funds teachers. So we will often say it funds instruction, not construction. So we do not use referendum dollars for administrators, for technology, for buildings. It is really all about the supports that we're able to provide our kids in the classroom and keeping those dollars as close to the classroom as we possibly can.
Scott,
Mr. Langford.
yeah, I guess the question we often get through something like this. Hendricks County has 6 schools, school corporations. Why? How come none of those other school corporations need a referendum made on this? If they're all living within their means, as the question goes, why can't he?
Yeah, so the piece I would say to that too is 3 school districts in Hendricks County have attempted referendum. Avon has so far been the only one that has been successful at a referendum. The other piece I would say, and we have this question answered on our website, and you can look. We have about 30 different questions that are answered on the school district website, and that's one of them. One of the things I always like to point out is Avon is really unique, not just in Hendricks County, but across the entire metropolitan Indianapolis area. We are the most diverse community in the Donut County around Indianapolis. So we serve 93 languages in our schools. 50% of our kids, just about 50%, are on free and reduced lunch. About 16% of our students speak another language, and we're trying to teach them English and help them make progress. So no other school district around the Indianapolis area has the level of complexity of students that we serve, and we are really able to see great academic gains because we have more multilingual teachers than surrounding school districts do. We have more special education teachers than surrounding school districts do. And so we have really been able to prioritize those dollars to the classroom because we are serving a complex student body that really most of the suburbs around Indianapolis don't get the privilege to serve. And we love the diversity in our schools. We love being able to serve the kids that we serve, but it requires additional resources. The other piece that I will say too, and Mr. Langford knows this because we held a lot of community meetings. Some school districts around us have really large middle schools. Our board made the decision to build a new middle school because what our community said was middle school's too important of a time for kids to be in a school of 1,500, 1,600. We wanted our middle schools to be 800 to 900 kids. And so we have been able to do that, but that costs more dollars. And so when our community said this is what they wanted, is a structure, we could have had 1,600 student middle schools, but our parents, our community said we don't want kids to fall between the cracks in that really pivotal age of middle school. So those kinds of things I think differentiate us from really all of central Indiana suburban districts, not just here in the county, Yeah, Stan?
I think I prepped you with this question when we last spoke, but in 2018, your school budget, according to your Form 9s on Gateway, according to DLGF, your budget was $122.9 million. Your budget this year is, or the latest recorded 23-24 is $237.3 million, is what is listed on your Form 9. So that seems like a pretty significant increase. And your in-cash reserves and investment total went from 63 million to 78 million just in the past year, which is a 15 million increase in cash. And according to your budget, the referendum is $12 million. And so it looks a lot to me like you put my $12 million in cash reserves.
No. And so what I would suggest is getting with Sheila, because all of that Form 9 information she submits. And so what the state dictates is that there are different buckets of money that we have to have as a school district. So one bucket is just for school construction, for debt. You can't use any of those dollars for other purposes, to hire teachers. On Form 9s, there are accounts that the state requires us to report that they didn't require us to report 7 or 8 years ago. So there are a whole lot of details in looking at that Form 9 that Sheila and her department have to track and make sure it all makes sense. So any of those kind of questions I think would be great to sit down with Sheila and she can go through that with you line by line. Yes.
So first of all, thank you for the work you do. It's really hard and I admire what you do every day because I couldn't do it. So I think on a renewal, what you're asking for voters will not increase their taxes. In fact, you're proposing a 2% decrease.
2 cents.
So I'm sorry, 2 cents from 35. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, 2 cent decrease. And in not passing this will force you to fire teachers and increase classroom size.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
But the last 4 years, it's been at 24 since 33.
So that's a good question. So if you look at this document that Linda has copies of. We have dropped our tax rate. So the voters approved a 35-cent tax rate in 2018. But our school board goes through a budgeting process every year to determine how much do we actually need. But we have to look ahead 8 years. And we work with financial advisors. They assume the worst. So they assume you're not going to see much growth as a community because we're forecasting out 8 years. So every year, Sheila takes our board through the budgeting process. We just held our first meeting in August. We'll hold another meeting in September. And we have been able to drop our tax rate 32% because our values of our property have gone up. And in many school districts, if the voters approved a 35-cent rate, you would just take that full rate the entire 8 years of the referendum. But our board really challenged us that we only need to collect what we need to meet these priorities of the referendum. So we have reduced that amount each time. But we have to look ahead for the next 8 years. What could we potentially need? So Mr. Alwell is right. Our tax rate right now is 24 cents. We're asking the voters to approve 33 cents, but that's maximum. So in 2018, the maximum was 35. We never collected that. In 2025, we had to look ahead. What could we potentially need going all the way into 2033 with all the changes that have happened in property tax laws in Indiana, and came up with that 33-cent rate. We can always come in under that. We can't ever go over the amount that the voters approved. So if we would have collected the full 35 cents, we would have collected an additional $23 million over the life of the referendum. But we didn't need that money to meet the priorities. So we didn't want to collect that money. And so that is a really confusing part. The ballot question talks about the maximum rate, but each year the school board goes through a process with Sheila to determine what rate is actually needed. Yes.
So I just wanted, just from a selling the message standpoint, in 2018, you received permission to take in an additional up to an additional 33 cents per dollar property tax.
An additional 35 cents.
35 cents
per
$100 of property tax.
Yep.
But you didn't, you only took in 24 cents. And now, and now you're asking that the 35-cent cap be lowered to 33 cents.
You got it.
But doesn't that sound like you're asking people to go from 24 to 33 because you hadn't ever taken the full amount?
Which is why we're doing these kind of meetings, because the state has made this whole process very confusing.
I mean, how are you going to overcome that? Because that, as a regular person, I mean, I'm eyeballs deep into this stuff, but
Yeah.
but as the regular person who's just walking their kids to school and please put your shoes on, come on, that kind of thing. I'm gonna go, but you said we were only, they said in the news that we were only paying 24 cents. So now you want it to be 33 cents?
And that's where we really come back to this document, because it shows how we have reduced that year over year over year. So we have to ask the voters for a maximum rate over an 8-year period.
What is the most you've ever collected? Have you ever collected the 33 cents?
Never.
What's the most?
The most was the first year of the referendum. It was 34 cents. Yeah, and then we've been able to reduce it.
35.
Yeah, then we've been able to reduce it since that time. Yeah. Yes.
I just want to say I'm a retired IPS teacher, high school teacher, and I'm subbed in the Avon school, and I'm surprised about the diversity.
Yes.
I will make this, I know with the loss of COVID money and the impact on DEI programming, not being popular and such, what impact does that have on in terms of staffing and programming?
No, that's a great question. So we did receive COVID money, as all schools did in that time frame. And what we really tried to focus those dollars on was people to provide services to kids that were struggling. And we were so fortunate to live in Hendricks County, where we started school back in July of 2020, when a lot of communities around us did not, but in Hendricks County we did. And even with that, our kids were behind and they needed services to get caught up. So we added multilingual teachers. as a part of COVID dollars. We added social workers and those kinds of supports to help kids with their mental health support. Well, COVID money ran out at the end of 2024. What we are thankful for is that we've been able to continue those supports because we had those referendum dollars that allowed us to do that. Where other school districts had to cut those positions and make pretty significant staffing reductions, we've been able to maintain those because we had that additional community support.
I've been studying in the elementary. And what I've noticed is there is a lot of support.
Yeah.
I've worked a lot of different places and number of people, yes. I don't want to go, one-on-one small group support is pretty good.
And that has helped us recruit teachers. They look at our class sizes, they look at the sports we have. I just had a teacher today tell me, she was a brand new teacher tell me she was deciding, she's a special ed teacher, which they're hard to find. She was deciding between Westfield, Avon, and Hamilton Southeastern. And she picked us because our pay was so competitive and the supports that she knew we had in special education. And that's why she chose to start her career in Avon as a new teacher versus some of the North Side school districts.
You had any pressure on cutting programs needing to somehow be HGI-ish?
You know, our board has our mission as a school district is all belong, learn, and grow. And so our focus has not been on diversity, equity, inclusion words. We focus on we serve all. And that's what I love about public education. That's why I've spent my career in public ed as a teacher and as an administrator. Is we have kids that show up that don't know a lick of English, and our teachers get them passing standardized testing. And we serve kids with significant disabilities, and it doesn't matter what services or supports you need, we'll serve you in public education. And so we start every meeting, every school board meeting, talking about we serve all kids in Avon, and we are able to really continue doing what we do under that mission that they've set for us of serving all kids, and we don't get too hung up on the drama that happens with the political things that are going on. Somebody had a question over here. Okay.
One thing to make it a little bit less scary, it's not 33 cents on each dollar of property taxes. It's 33% off of the school's portion of that 1%. So my taxes in 2018 only went up $1,000, and he said they did 34 cents. So it's on the school's portion after they work through the 1% property tax cap.
Well, the piece I would say is there is a tax calculator on our website. So you're using percent, and sometimes I think it's easy to get confused with percentage increases and the tax rate of 33 cents of what we're asking. So because I don't want to do math for people, and I don't want to tell them something wrong, we have a tax calculator that our financial advisors put on the school district website, where if somebody really wants to know, we link to the county website, they can look up their value of their home, they can plug it in, because then you also have to take into account the deductions. The tax rate doesn't apply to your gross, it applies after those deductions come off. That tax calculator does all the math for you and shows you here's what you would pay off the 35-cent rate from 2018, here's what you would pay off the 33-cent rate from 2025, and it's always a reduction because the maximum rate is going down that 2 cents.
And that's a maximum amount you would pay.
Correct.
You may pay less.
Every year we would determine, absolutely, our goal would be to continue to pay less.
And what is that website?
That is all on the school district website. So avon-schools.org. And there's a link that says referendum renewal. And if you go there, there's a ton of info, and that's where you'll find that tax calculator. Mrs. Simmons.
Scott, you shared with us at one board meeting that we could possibly use our paraprofessionals, our school bus drivers, some of them, and our custodians. I taught in Morgan County at Monrovia, and they've already lost their custodians. The teachers have to clean their own classrooms. And another thing, Scott, you stated, this really doesn't set well with me. Kids will not be able to be in their clubs, like the bowling team, chess club.
Yeah,
all
so
these after school,
yeah.
because we're not gonna have the money to pay the people, the teachers that instruct them in this.
So that third priority of the referendum, one was class sizes, two was competitive teacher pay, and then the third one, as Mrs. Simmons was saying, was opportunities for kids. So when the referendum passed in 2018, we added 60 clubs at Avon High School, 20 clubs at each middle school. So I was at Avon High School and saw Dungeons and Dragons Club. There were 80 kids at Dungeons and Dragons Club. I didn't have a clue what they were doing, but that did not exist before 2018. But for those kids, that's what was making a large high school feel small. Dungeons and Dragons Club was their thing. And so those are the kind of things that we did not have before 2018 that now.
And we didn't have any, did we, before then?
Very few, and some of them parents had to pay to participate in. And so the fact that we've been able to have the dollars to provide more, the class sizes are really the biggest benefit of the referendum and the competitive teacher pay. But then we also really wanted to give more opportunities for kids to feel success at school. Yes, ma'am.
And I want to mention there is a Democrat.
We speak at the Republican breakfast next week. There is also a Republican club at Avon High School, so just so you know.
Anybody mind? I didn't think so. First of all, our nation is flawed, it's complex. We have goofed up a lot of things. One thing we got absolutely right was the importance of public education.
Yes.
The concept that no matter who you are, where you're born, rich, middle class, of no wealth whatsoever, bring me your demographic, bring me your disabled, you're severely disabled. This is a place for you. And every single community in this country has its own school system. It's wonderful. We're flawed, but that we get right. We've gotten that right for over 100 years, starting with Horace Mann and going on back. And why Scott is here right now, and why we have to spend time talking about referendum, is that there are people at the State House who don't believe what we do, which is what I just said, that no matter who you are, you deserve a first-class education. And this whole referendum system started because people don't like it, because they want to not have all of this for all the public, but only for the chosen few. And so we started getting the voucher system and the charter system and the taxpayer dollars going to religious institutions, so on and so forth. And so as we said in our school board meetings, when we took this vote, we don't like this. Scott and Sheila have other things. The school board members have other things. We don't want a referendum. We don't want people to have to show up to the ballot to say yes. We just wish the community at large would just embrace it. But that is not what the State House has decided. And so now we are where we are. And so when you talk to your next door neighbors and your friends and maybe the naysayers out there, just remind them, we don't want this. We don't like raising taxes. Nobody here likes paying more taxes. But if I'm going to pay more taxes, I want to be it for this, the single most important thing in our country, public education.
Yeah.
So I'll share this and then I'll give the mic back because I told her I wouldn't take very long. In fairness, I didn't. They had questions. So Mr. Langford asked the question about, why Avon is unique in doing and being successful in a referendum and others around us maybe haven't. My daughter graduated this last May, and one of the young ladies in her class went on to college to the University of Missouri. And I know their family and saw them at an open house this summer, and their parents made a beeline for me this summer and said, we got to tell you what happened to our daughter when she went to her first counselor meeting at the University of Missouri. She went in and she's talking with the counselor about her schedule and what classes she needs to take as a freshman. The counselor needed help to help her, so they had to call for someone else and higher up in the counseling office to come help her. That second person came, they needed help. They had to call a third person to come help this young lady because they had never had at the University of Missouri a student come with as many college credits from advanced placement classes that this young lady had. And by the time she walked out of that counselor's office with her 3 counselors, she was a junior in college. So her parents came up to me and were like, do you know what you saved our family, what you have allowed her to do, that she's now going to get a master's in the time she thought it was going to take her to get a bachelor's degree. That kid's lifetime earning, and there are stories like that all across our schools, because we've been able to really offer a level of programming and a level of supports that really is unique. Not all kids are on that college track and are going to do that, but the fact that we can meet that kid's needs just the same way that we meet a kid who's got a severe disability, and we're just getting them ready for a meaningful job when they leave Avon School, and we can do that too. And I think that's really part of what separates us, and so why we're going around talking about, we hope people will vote yes. Thanks for your time. I'll leave some documents if you need anything else.
Thank you, Dr. Wyndham. Obviously, we maybe need to talk about school stuff more often, eh? This referendum, though, does give us a lot of opportunity as a county party to do a lot of different things. In a contracted kind of way, as far as elections, election workers, stuff like that. Next up will be, where is he? Oh, Matt. Matt Maegher, District 4, we are still, as of today, a part of District 4. And Matt is the chair. Woo! And he's got some things to say.
All right.
Thank you, Linda. I want to thank Linda and Chris, being active participants in the district. I also want to thank them for all of their hard work during the party. I want to recognize past chair Cindy Hummon back there, who I want to applaud for staying involved. I will tell you, I have been a past chair for 14 years, and I think I've been to fewer than 14 meetings. So thank you for staying involved. Thank you for all you guys are doing to grow the party. It is great to see a good turnout in Hendricks County. I was back here in January or February. I think I spoke for 45 minutes. It takes me 15 minutes to say hello. I'm going to do a better job at not taking so long this time, but we have a lot to cover. Yeah, redistricting. So let's get into it. What do I know? What do I think? Okay, I think that the maps we've seen, which will move you all into the 8th district and away from me, are probably pretty close to accurate. 6, or sorry, 6. What is the 8th? Will become the 6th. Those maps are as legal as hell. You can gerrymander for almost any reason in this country, but what you cannot gerrymander for is to break up minority voting blocks. And when you break up a minority voting block in Marion County, who has a proportion of African Americans at the same proportion as Chicago, when you break that up, that is called cracking, and the Supreme Court has consistently, for decades, said you cannot do that. And this Supreme Court has said you cannot do that. Now, do I fear that this Supreme Court will contradict itself within 2 years? Yeah, absolutely. But my bigger fear is that they are not going to do this until the last second, because they know we're going to sue. And they know that it will take a circuit court, Marion County Circuit Court, Superior Court, whichever court it goes through, will take their sweet time because they're busy. And then it'll go to the Indiana Court of Appeals and they'll take their sweet time. And then it'll go to the Indiana Supreme Court, and that will take the rest of our natural lives.
Yes.
And it will be next August or September. And the Indiana Supreme Court will say, no, you can't do that. But you played it out just right. The clock has ran out, and we'll have to live with these maps, and we'll figure it out in 28. I think that's a real chance of that. What does that mean? I know. Now, what does that mean? It means that Frank Mervan will be in a district that's about 13.5 points more Republican. Right now, nationwide, every special election we've had, Democrats are running about 15 points ahead. So if Frank Mervan gets out and works like a sitting congressman should be okay. It's gonna take what is now the 8th, I think we'll call it the 6th, where Evansville, which historically is where my family is from, my great grandfather was chairman of Ways and Means from Evansville in the 40s. Used to be that Evansville elected Democrats every presidential election. My great grandfather spent 5 terms in Indiana House, and he never won 2 elections back to back. He went in the presidential years, he loosened the off. That was Evansville. Evansville's finally getting back to operating like a Democratic stronghold. Terre Haute has started to turn around. Hendricks County, let's give ourselves some credit here. Since 2012, you will have moved 13 points to the left. You're third in the state after Hamilton and Boone. They're drawing maps. You can't draw these maps and create new Republicans. If you take Marion County and you split it up, and you take the first district and you split it up, you have to put more Democrats into districts. So what they've ended up doing is taking 8 districts and making them all somewhere within that margin of error of what these special elections have shown we can do. And then they've taken the 4th district and made it so red. I don't know what to do with it. So we could have real competitive races in the state next year. So what are we going to do to have real competitive races in this state? It starts here with that signboard back there. The 4th district, and Teresa gets all the credit for this. When you're the chair, you can have ideas and then say, yeah, but you know, I don't have time to do that. And then you get a Teresa Brandon to do that. And she goes out and nicely and sometimes not so nicely suggests people get their acts together and they get their material put together and they rehearse it and they refine it. And then we have put on so far 5 fantastic training sessions for first-time candidates. The things they need to know before they run. We've got a guide out there that's available that you can read through. We've had Teresa gave training on kind of what you need to think about the first time you run for office. Kristen Self, who has ran many successful campaigns, talked about the importance of field managers and volunteer directors. Mike Oles from Hendricks County talked about campaign managers. Maegher gave a great presentation last night. Dana Black, we all know Dana. So we all know Dana hit it out of the park. Did a great session on digital fundraising. Tomorrow night, Tim Anderson, who's the district board treasurer, he spent 2 terms as the Boone County treasurer. He is a retired CPA, is doing training on treasurers. We have one more session after that with Mary Klinkos, who's a very successful fundraiser. We will have had 2 fundraising sessions. We'll have had, I think, a total of 7 sessions on pretty much the whole variety of what it takes to run a campaign, what you need to know as a candidate that first time. And pretty much everything but Dana's presentation is on YouTube at IN4 Blue Pod. And Chris and Linda have access to Dana's training through the district intranet. So you have access to all the training. We just couldn't make Dana's publicly available because she didn't run it through Act Blue Legal before she did it. I will tell you that the next day she gave a half-hour presentation of it on ActBlue website. So you can find the training out there with data publicly. Why is
What's the YouTube?
IN4 Blue POD?
Matt,
Yeah,
put that white piece of paper over on the podium. It's taped to the podium. On the top of the podium, is there a white piece of paper? There you go.
Good job.
it's like magic. We have more training coming. We're gonna probably take a pause. We're gonna switch around our district meeting, which will be in Avon.
Yes.
We'll be at Avon. Thank you to Cindy. Thank you to Linda. It's gonna be mostly on county party building. What resources do PCs need? What resources do the county chairs, vice chairs, secretaries, treasurers need? We're gonna start doing quarterly meetings with the different executive officer teams. We're gonna get all the district treasurers together with Tim, so that he can answer their questions. Same with vice chair, secretaries. Not sure about chairs. We'll see what they think. They may be sick of talking.
When is that in Avon?
Saturday,
13,
13th, 1 to 3,
1 to 3.
1 to 3. at the library.
Avon Library.
So we're gonna work on county party building. We're gonna come back around to candidates. We're gonna do a series with candidates, which I've had this brainchild literally in the last 2 days, and I'm still fleshing it out. I'm gonna sit down on Zoom with Karen, and I'm gonna go, Karen, before you ran for the first time, what do you wish you'd know?
So much.
I mean, it's great for us to tell you these trainings, the things we think you should know, but we need some actual candidates to say, here's what I wish I had known. So we're gonna do that. Why? Because we have to fill that balance. We cannot continue to have top-heavy ballots. We screwed up. We screwed up so badly as a party. We thought that in the age of Trump, that people could see through him, could see the callousness, the pettiness, the brazenness, he's not actually that richness, that he is just a lying, philandering, sexist, homophobic, toxic.
Yes.
And we thought that if we nationalized every race, that we could win every race from dog catcher to president on what a horrible, despicable human being he is. And boy, were we wrong. Boy, did we blow that. And so now we have a situation where we have ballots with nobody at the bottom and everybody at the top, and everybody at the top are people you know on TV. And the thing is that we can say what we want about Trump, and while we might be telling the truth, they can say what they want about Kamala Harris, Jennifer McCormick, insert name here. AOC, the people you'll never actually meet. The problem is our ballot is full of the people you'll never actually meet. And then there's no one at the bottom of the candidate, at the bottom of that ballot. And so there's not really people going out and campaigning like we need. No one's going to the ballot going, well, I'm a Republican, but my neighbor's running as a Democrat and they are a good person. So I'll break my ballot. No, they walk in, they vote straight ticket, and they walk out. And that's killing us. It's killing us statewide. You've got to fill those ballots. We've got to have those people out there going door to door. We've got to be able to put a face to a name, to an idea. You've got to be able to have someone that when someone goes, well, all Democrats believe, you know, we have a county councilman in Cass County. This man's an educator. Now, literally, he teaches at a juvenile intake facility, so he may have a skewed view of the world.
You think?
He believes that there are schools that have litter boxes for students who identify as cats. He holds elected office in Cass County, which the juvenile intake facility is also on the campus of the State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. So I don't know where he lives, but it might be a short commute. Got to fill that ballot. Got to fill that ballot. I was in Clinton County Saturday, and which Clinton County in September, they have their Big Dam barbecue. And their Big Dam barbecue, they have this guy. The barbecue is fantastic. He got a PhD in education or a doctorate of education, I guess it is, while he was in the Army. He was a professor of education at Purdue and kept getting in trouble with the dean because he had a really strict late policy. And he told me, I realized I wasn't cut out for it when I had these kids who couldn't turn their paper in time. He goes, I'm in an active war zone getting shot at, and I turn my papers in on time. There's no reason these kids can't do it from their dorm room. So he does barbecue now. It's fantastic barbecue. You should really, if you hear the Big Dam barbecue's going on, you should make a trip. It's great barbecue. But a candidate for state rep got up, and he talked about why he was running. And then he said, I'm running even though I know I can't win.
Ouch.
I hated hearing that. I hated hearing him say that. Mostly why I hated it is I know he's right. He's running in an awful, awful district. And he's not going to get any help from the state caucus. Karen can tell you what that's like. They're not interested in all but a handful of districts. But he said, I'm running anyway because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them always doing what's most convenient for the rich. They're always making the wrong choices. I was on school board for 4 years. The fact that we're talking about a referendum is a problem. It's a damn problem, because I'm telling you, I live in Logansport. Us trying to get a referendum passed would have just been a waste of the money we spent on the lawyers. We wouldn't have gotten that referendum passed. We shouldn't have to get that referendum passed. There's no excuse for having referendums to fund schools. There's no excuse for my wife who teaches having to spend her money on school supplies.
Yes.
That's the country we live in.
My wife, yes.
So he said, I'm going to run even though I know I'm going to lose. And while I hate that he feels that way, so happy that he understands the importance of running in that situation. And I'm going to tell you, the first time I ran, I lost. I think I'm 2-4 overall electorally. First time I ran, I lost. Bad. And that really ripped me up. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just went out, got my yard signs, and I went and hid. I wasn't married at that point. So I just went and hid in my apartment for a couple of days. And then my mom called me, because this was 2011. My mom didn't have an iPhone yet, so she wasn't texting me. She was still calling. And I kind of, I was kind of mopey. And my mom said to me, she goes, you ever see me wear pink? And my mom's a breast cancer survivor anyways. And my mom does not wear pink. Ever. I said, no, I haven't. She goes, I don't want the worst thing that ever happened to you, what defines me. So, she said it's up to you how you define yourself. And I realized she was right, because well, I didn't want to talk to anybody. Nobody was going to talk to me about that anyway. It was something that happened, but it wasn't how they thought of me. My point in telling you that story is there are worse things than losing elections. Far worse things. Having the state legislature we have is worse than losing an election. Having Micah Beckwith as a lieutenant governor is worse than losing an election. Having Todd Rokita on this planet is worse.
Amen to that.
We could go through the whole list of those jokers. My point is, there are worse things that could happen to you than losing an election. And if you running means that we can elect Tiffany Stoner or Karen Whitney or a couple of city councilmen or a town councilwoman or a prosecuting attorney, I mean, we don't know what it's going to change by running a full ballot till we do. But it has to start here. We have to fill that ballot. There are worse things than losing. Right now, what we're experiencing is a lot worse than losing an election. Thank you.
We went to voting centers. Let's see, in the state of Indiana, you're not registered as a Republican or a Democrat. The only time you declare a party is that's primary. The second thing is, I like to see them take the straight ticket off.
Yes.
They can read about it because it does not vote for everything. It only votes for the ones that are opposed individually, where it says 2 out of 3, it does not vote for that person. It does not vote for the judges. I worked at the precincts. I was on the committee that set up the voting centers. We went from 106 precinct voting to 31 voting centers. They listened to me. I said, one judge for every 2 machines.
Yeah, so that is one of the, they know straight ticket voting is a problem, but they also know it's a problem they benefit from. So a couple of years ago, they did this kooky thing where they said, well, yeah, if there's more than one person you can vote for, well, that won't be straight ticket. So as a result, or if it's nonpartisan, so as a result, you'll have 10,000 people vote for president, 2,000 people vote for a school board because they straight ticketed, hit it, asked my vote and walked out. Yeah, it's a real problem.
Matt, have we ever tried to sue to change that for that reason you just described? Has there been court action?
No, there's not. That one, I don't know how you go about it, but
which makes me feel good to say it.
I have a GED in law, so I don't know how you would.
Yeah, but it's evidently historically, if we ever tried.
I mean, I think,
You
know, I think the gerrymandering is probably a more fruitful avenue for us. I think that one, yeah, I don't know how you'd sue on it, honestly.
Okay.
Anyone else have a question? Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
I'm sorry, I'm the agenda hound. But we got a long way to go. I would like for Ron Pittman to come up here, please. And who else? Will and Nancy. Who am I missing? Am I missing someone else? Who? Karen?
Yep, Karen.
Stand right side. I want you to line up here and I want you to put your signature next to the office you are running for. Being as how we're talking about filling the ballot, we'll see if we can't fill this up a little bit better. Here. Ron's running for Lincoln Township Board. Thank you so much. Nancy's running for Brownsburg Town Council.
Yeah.
Will Coulter-Young, some of you met him, some of you haven't, from Avon, and he is running for county council. Will's been attending all the trainings and he's loved them all.
Yeah.
And Karen's going after Jeff Thompson. One.
Yeah.
By the way, those of you, just a little aside here, the, what was that last? North Salem? No. Was that the last parade?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Republican Party had not one, not two, not three, but 4 units.
They are scared of us.
They are, I was so, it's the thing that made me the happiest that day. 4. Yeah, they're,
Because you're scary.
yeah. Thank you all, we'll continue to fill up all of our spots. So all of you have the minutes on your table. We're gonna move, I'm gonna entertain and motion to approve the minutes. Second? Everyone approved, say aye. All opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you so much. And Teresa's coming up here for the treasurer's report.
We're making this really quick. The numbers at the bottom, we turn in to contest every race, which granted us $400 this last time. So you'll see those numbers. We hope to keep them climbing. Any questions? I have the details in the back of the room. I'm not gonna go through this unless you really want us to run much more late.
Well, we're already, well, yeah, thank you. Thank you. The one thing I do want to say about money, well, you know, for now, is this number right here. And this number right here. This is so awesome. This is gonna help us so much going forward and as we move through the expenses that we're gonna have coming up next year. Let's see, next committee reports. Cindy's gonna go for communication since Kathy's off gallivanting on a vacation.
Outreach.
Something. I mean outreach. That's exactly what I mean.
This somehow feels familiar. All right, North Salem Parade, she mentioned it. Here's the best thing I can say about it. Nobody booed.
That's right.
That's the first. Okay, it looks like next week is full. You can check the board back there, but Together Tuesday is at 2 Guy Pies. Anything that's bought between 5 and 9, we will get a percentage of the sales. So that's 9/16, Tuesday, next week. 2 Guys Pies in Danville. We've got trivia at Rush off Main on the 17th, which is Wednesday at 7 p.m. We only have 3 people signed up for that. So please go out and look it up and sign up for the trivia. It's a lot of fun. Even if we aren't good, we have fun doing it. So it's interesting.
I'm looking for, you do not have to be brilliant to do trivia. Somebody did say to me, you didn't even know you were smart.
Then on Friday, which is 9/19, we'll be having coffee and conversation at Cabin Coffee in Avon. That is on Friday. Then on Saturday, we have the Plainfield Parade. 9 o'clock lineup, that's 9/20, which is Saturday, 9 o'clock lineup. We can always use more people because the bigger presence we show, the more people know there are Democrats in Hendricks County.
One thing that we added new, and it's not next week, it's in October. We're gonna, as part of the CER, the Contest Every Race, we're doing something every month in the community, and in October, it will be a blood drive. It'll be here at the fairgrounds. It's from 12 to 4. It's October 25th, which is a Saturday. And we're hoping to get at least 20 donors. So I personally am not allowed to donate anymore because there's something wrong with my blood. But, or I would be there, and I will be encouraging my husband to be there. So, think about it. If you're able to donate, please come out and do that. It'll help with us, maintaining the momentum with CER. So that's about it.
What are the hours on that one?
The blood drive is 12 to 4 here at the fairgrounds. They'll have one of those buses.
Exactly, that's probably gonna be a mobilized, yeah, Cindy?
Right.
So we can keep track of how many we got and all that sort of thing.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you so much. Chris,
Christie.
Christie,
One of them too.
purple girl.
Amazing hair.
So I told Linda as I walked in, this is my reminder to all the Hoosiers that we are actually a purple state. I come a little bit and smell the blue. So communications, we are now advertising on social media with Facebook. So community leaders, please get with me if you want to post something on an event, if you want to get the word out. We also have I now have a backup, so bear with me. I was out for 3 weeks with pneumonia. And so now we have a backup plan for social media, so we won't miss things. She's also taking over junior, or not junior, I call it juniors because I think juniors, but young Dems. So she's really a lot of energy and ready to go. So the two of us are gonna be working together to try to get more of that stuff out.
What is her name?
Darcy James.
Yeah.
She couldn't make it tonight, but she said she'll be here next month.
Is she from Hazelwood?
I think so.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yes. So she's kind of the same thing. She kind of was like listening to messages last month. I was not here, so she said she sat there and her friend looked over and said, "You can do 3 of these things." And she was like, "I could and I should." And I was like, "I'm so happy you're here because we need people who want to do things." What else was there that I said that I was going to talk about? I think that's it. So committee leaders, get with me if there's anything you want to put out. We can do ads for it. So, and then also regarding you for people that are running. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. I've been loving that here too, really, seriously. Aaron, you gotta do fundraising. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about for HH dinner, I'm just saying.
I know, right?
Everybody needs to buy tickets. Buy tickets, buy all the tickets.
On your tables, you have slips of paper that tell you how to register for the Hoosier Hospitality Dinner. We still have 17 days before the deadline of the 21st to, I don't think that's right.
12 days.
I just love the mess. Anyway, the 21st is the deadline, and we sent out 1,170. Oh my God, we sent out 1,170 invitations in the mail. Wow. If you didn't get yours, please pick up something from the table and turn one in. We also need some help that day. We have decorations to set out on the tables. We have a front door to decorate and make very festive. And we have all the materials to do it, but we need the warm hands and bodies to do that, to assemble the decorations and get them on the table. We also have a little surprise for everybody who attends. It's not much, but it's our appreciation, and it will be at every seat. Cindy?
What time do you want people there to help decorate?
1 o'clock. at the 4-H fairgrounds. And we're in the big conference room over here.
North-South Hall,
In the what?
the North-South Hall or the Expo Hall?
North-South.
North-South Hall.
Okay.
Where they do the legislative breakfast. I hear we're gonna have a legislative breakfast for Democrats at some point, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we should.
I think that's a good idea. We are also doing the Tuesday night, the Together Tuesday at Two Guys Pies, and that is a 10% that goes to the Democrat Party. We get a little bit of money for that twice a year, and we're looking for more other sponsors of other restaurants that might do the same. So if you know of anybody that might sponsor us for a night or a night out.
Pizza.
What is it?
Rockstar Pizza.
Okay,
Bronzeford.
good. We'll check that out and we will start to do that more often because it's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Tracy Barron's Funk is our county election board representative.
Thank you. I'll be here all night. So first, we do have a public meeting on September 25th. That's a Thursday, 2:00. It's to do ballot testing. So we're required to make sure the ballot looks okay on the machines work. By law, we only have to check 2 machines, so don't get too excited about it. It's not that many, but it is a public meeting, so if you want to come, please do if you have time. It's important that we show up to these meetings as Democrats. Typically, we have one, maybe Republican in the room, other than the election board member. So if we have 3 or 4 Dems, we'll have the majority. So please show up. 2:00. And it's if you're late, it'll probably be over. So we do make them pretty short. I mean, right now we don't have a lot of things to talk about. We will get, of course, more and more involved the closer we get to any other election. But this one is, special elections, pretty straightforward. The one thing I do want to tell you about though, is that the Hendricks County Clerk's Office has an app now on your phone. So you can get it in the Play Store or wherever you get apps. And if you download that, you'll be able to see all of the voter information. So anything about elections, locations,
What's it called?
Hendricks County Clerk's Office, I think.
Hendricks County Clerk's Office.
It's the same platform that the sheriff's office uses. So it's familiar. It's pretty simple to use, and we will, not for the special election, but for maybe the primary, we will have wait times on the app. Now it's not automatic because there's no way to do that in an automated fashion. There's no mechanism. So it will be part of poll worker training to help maintain a wait time. So
Yeah, it is Hendricks County Clerk's Office is what you're gonna search for.
Yep.
What if the National Guard shows up?
We'll talk about that
Right.
later.
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I'll be in a ghoul. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Nancy, what?
Something that precinct committee people could be doing this month.
Well, if you can't tell, Nancy's on the PC operations.
Take these to your neighbor.
Yes.
Please, neighbor, please.
the PC operations committee will be reaching out to the Washington Township PCs to get organized, so we can do some heavy outreach
Push for our
with
beloved children.
fees that we got from Dr. Wyndham. That's it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm missing, CD4 candidate campaign training. Do we need to say anything more about that? Okay. Teresa Brandon's got something to say.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, so you know we've got this training going on. Part of the reason we're doing that is to help support people to run for office. Yeah, we're trying to make it easy for you. So if you haven't written this down, write it down. I want to challenge each and every person here to think about the various roles on a campaign and think about, what would I like to do? And I want you to go look at that one training. I don't want you to look at all of them. I want you to pick one and go check it out. The second thing I want to announce is anybody who runs for office, I will offer consulting for you if you want me to come in and look at your campaign at any point and advise you. I will be glad to do that. Carry on.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Matt talked about the CD4 meeting this coming Saturday, the 13th, 1 to 3 p.m. at the Avon Library. I want to give a special thanks to Jackie Heathcott for doing that reservation for us. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Abby.
Let's see, I have two, I think Sarah Blainbridge is a new PC. And also Donna Watson is a new PC. So there. And still need print communications, newsletter, chair, marketing and promotions chair. I will tell you that we are talking to some marketing promotions third-party people this week. Yeah, this week sometime. I don't remember when. And then poll workers for the special election. I still have some openings, not very many. Of course, there's not very many to begin with. But I need early voting alternates. I need one person for travel board, and I need an alternate for travel board. I need election day poll workers, one at Radiant Bible Church, 2 alternates for Radiant Bible. I need 2 poll workers for Our Shepherd Lutheran Church, and I need 2 alternates. I need 2 alternates for Bartlett Chapel, and I need 2 alternates for Plainfield Christian Church. Those are the spots I have. If anybody's interested in doing that. This is a good spot. I was talking with Steve McClure, thank you. Sorry, Steve. Steve McClure yesterday. Yeah, and he's a first time, he wants to work the polls, the first time he's done it. This is really a good time to do that, especially for early voting, because early voting is for 6 days, so you can do those, and they're short days, 8 to 4 and 8 to 3 on Saturday. So you kind of get your feet wet a little bit, and so this is a good time to do that. Let's see.
Linda, what are the hours on the 4th, November 4th, that you need people? 6 to 6?
6 to 6 for the election day, right. Right.
You really have to be there at 5.
Yeah, election day is typically, most usually, well, last year it was 18-hour day, but usually you're talking about a 14-hour day. Yes.
It's running late. Is there a future time? Is there any way to change that? Because so many people cannot do that.
Cannot do the 12 hours?
Right. Physically, don't have the time. I mean, the idea of making it more humane.
State law, state law.
Well, but some county clerks will let you do split shifts.
Oh, that's
We've never done 12-hour shifts in Cass County because the average age of a poll worker in this country is
Really sad.
So we just put I don't wanna tell you more because we're in OT, but
Yeah.
put a pin on that, because I think in your quest to have the representation we need to have,
Right.
can we make things less hard on ourselves?
Right, we can break that up, Tracy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So, yeah. Anybody have anything else? Everybody said what they want to say?
I can do it in 25 minutes.
No, Meg has to win the raffle again. Meg has to win the raffle again. Yes.
While she's walking up here, I just wanna say, if you wanna do just a little bit more for the party, but not like a whole lot more, the parade on the 20th will be the best weather of the season. It'll take about 2 hours. You get to park at Maegher parking lot, and then you will be, carpooled, shuttled back to your vehicle. And if you wanna park on the other end too, you can do that as well. So bring your kids, grandkids, but you're in charge of them.
Yeah.
$83.
I didn't buy it. I bought the ticket. Well, I actually didn't buy the ticket, but I borrowed the money.
Catherine, you didn't buy this.
That's true.
Dig deep, Catherine. I'm feeling lucky.
We'll let our legal counsel draw it.
That's a rumor.
I'll have to counter sue. Oh, it's a green ticket.
Yeah.
It's a green ticket.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I didn't know I had.
188
You didn't.
zero
I didn't.
4 3.
Okay, I'm lucky in this.
I